Hey everybody, it's Tamara from Moogly, and I want to thank you so much for joining me for this live. It is April 15th, 2020, and we're going live a little bit later than expected today. I just talked about this a little bit on Facebook. Basically, it's just been a heck of a day. We had a repair person here for our furnace that quit, and then tech issues, so I'm doing this from my phone, so it's going to be a little bit different, but we're going to make it work. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. So just over on Facebook, which is at the link in the description, you can head over there and kind of check that out. I went over the latest projects on Moogly, including ones that may not have a video tutorial, as well as the giveaways and a sneak peek of the next pattern coming out Friday, which will eventually get a video tutorial, but I'll go ahead and sneak peek it again right now. So hi, Chris. Hi, Melissa. Thanks again for tuning in. There is the Narwhal Squish coming to Moogly on Friday this month. So that is something to look forward to. So hi, Melissa. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Melody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get started with today's topic, I want to point out I am wearing the Cuff to Cuff color block cardigan. So if you want to check that out, that is also a free pattern on mooglyblog.com at the link in the description. So thank you so much, Ms. Jen. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mariella. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Rainbow Crochet. Good to see you again. So basically, like I said, on Facebook, I just went over like all, kind of the Moogly news, some sneak peeks and things. But a pattern that came out on mooglyblog.com yesterday, you may have seen these already running around. Lots of people have them. They are the crochet ear savers right here, like this one. Basically, it's just a strap of crochet with a button at each end. And for those who need to wear the face masks with the elastics that go behind the ears, these can be really, really helpful. Thank you so much, Sarah and Susan and Knots of Mayhem. Thank you. So basically, if you have to wear a mask, if you live in a location where you're required to wear a mask, or you just are more comfortable wearing a mask, or your job requires a mask, and you're not used to it particularly, those elastic loops behind the ears can get really irritating, or so I'm told. Fortunately, I haven't had to wear them too much yet myself. But yeah, so it rubs against the ears, can really pull on the ears. If you've got an ear, that doesn't support it, some people have a wonky ear, kind of like Stephen Colbert, if you know what I'm talking about. I watched a video with him yesterday. He was trying to put on one of those masks and his ear wouldn't support it. Or perhaps you wear glasses and the behind the straps mess with your glasses or your hearing aids or whatever. These can be really helpful. Basically, you put on the mask and then you put the straps over the buttons, and the strap goes behind your head. And then you put the second elastic strap over the other button, and it just holds those straps back off the ears, which can be a lot more comfortable. Now, I've been using Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie to make mine right here. It is 100% cotton, so I love that. Very washable, very comfortable. Not going to cause any allergens. You could use Red Heart Super Saver with love. You could use an acrylic. The important thing is to make sure that it's going to be washable and dryable. So hi, hola Laura and Lashana and Terry. Hi Jonathan, thank you so much. So basically, yes, you just want to make sure you use a really washable yarn, and of course washable buttons too. Some of those buttons you find at the craft store, you turn them over, you're like, oh, this is a beautiful button, and then you turn over, you're like, oh, well, it's not washable. I'm not going to put this on a garment, right? These need to be able to be washed in hot water, of course, so they can be nice and sterilized. So definitely keep that in mind. So like I said, yesterday I went ahead and put up a written pattern for those who wanted a written pattern that was easy to find in one place. Most of the ones I've been seeing have been just kind of like running around in Facebook posts. So thank you so much, Rainbow Crochet. So I went ahead and put up the written pattern yesterday. It's literally one line of instruction, besides weaving the ends and sew on the buttons. But I thought today I would go ahead and do a live video tutorial for how to make these for those who can't read written patterns or prefer not to, or just would like to see it demoed. Go ahead and demo it live. Now, as I mentioned, we were having some technical difficulties today, so I don't have my overhead camera, but I have figured out something here with my phone that I think is going to work pretty well. I'm going to hit the button, and then it'll be facing the other way, and I'll just bring my hands around and demo it like that. So, hi, Teresa. Thank you so much. You've been making them for your niece who's a nurse. That's awesome. Thank you, Terry, everybody. Yeah, lots of these being made. Whether you follow my pattern or somebody else's, just get them out there for those who need them. They're really making a difference, I think. And there's something that we can do as crocheters. And I know crocheters and knitters are some of the most generous people I've ever met. So thank you so much, Terry and Sandra and Annette. So let's see. Like I said, if you go to the link in the description, you can get the written pattern for this, as well as all the stuff I talked about on Facebook. And there's some good stuff there. But today I'm going to be using Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie. And when I made This one doesn't have buttons on it yet. I've been making a bunch. I used a G hook. My G hook has unfortunately gone walkabout. I think it's upstairs with another project I was working on last night. So I'm going to grab a G plus. The hook size itself doesn't matter so much. You just want a good, reasonable fabric. You don't want it super loose. You don't want to be trying to work super tight. The cotton may shrink up a little bit anyway. So if you've got a G plus, which is, the 4.5 rather than the 4, I don't think it'll make a difference. So I'm going to use this. And then for buttons, I actually got a big pack of these. When I was trying to find just the right buttons for the octopus squish, I ended up buying these and bringing them home. And I didn't use them for that, but I've been using them since to make these. And I like to use the buttons that are about 3/4 inches around or 1 inch around. So I've kind of been going through and picking out the bigger ones from the packages. But like I say, as long as they're washable and dryable and big enough, you can hold the strap. So I'd say 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4, any of those should work just fine. So let's go ahead and I'm going to switch the camera around here. So bear with me just a moment. Let's see, did that work? Yes, okay. So I'm going to bring my hands right around here. Woo! Have the hands. Oh, thank you so much, Diane. And Marielle, I will always take compliments. So let me just pull up some yarn. You can see this is a skein I've been using for other stuff here. And pull back to the beginning here. Sorry, I'm just going to move this towards me a little bit more so I get more around it here in front. So basically, the way I like to do these is I like to use the foundation half double crochet method. Give me a really nice bottom of the stitch to work into. So I'm just going to go ahead. You can start with a slip knot or get that yarn on the hook, however you like. Then I'm going to chain 2, like so, and then I yarn over. I go into that first chain I made, the one furthest from the hook. Hi from France. Hi, Pixie and Lashana. Thank you. Okay, and we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And basically, we're just going to go ahead and make our foundation half double crochets. So I yarn over, pull through that first loop, then I yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's our first foundation half double crochet. 2 loops at the bottom of the first stitch there. Pull up a loop, yarn over again, pull through just that first loop. Oops. See, I pulled through 2. I'm actually looking at my camera right now instead of my work. It'd probably be easier if I looked at my work. There we go. So that creates the new chain at the bottom of this stitch. So then I just get that yarn there again, yarn over and pull through all 3 to finish the second one. So I'm just going to continue making foundation half double crochets. And I found I like to make about 19 of them. You can make these shorter, longer. If you don't want to end up making this mask particularly tight, you can make it a bit longer if you find that you need the masks to be a little bit tighter. Maybe you've got a little bit smaller head than the standard. I don't think the masks come into sizes until you get down to the children's stuff, although some of the sewn ones do. So you can make these a little bit shorter if you want to make your mask a little tighter, or if you're making them for a child. There are definitely some child masks out there now. So if you wanted to make it a little bit shorter, more to fit them, that totally work too. The number itself is relatively arbitrary. I just went with 19 for an overall length of about 5.5 inches. I was making them, like I say, for adults. So just continue making these foundation half double crochets until you have 19 of them. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and say I've made 19, although obviously I have not. But we're going to pretend that I've made 19 half double crochets. There we are. Now what I want to do is I want to work 2 half double crochets right into that base of that last one I made. So we're not going to make new some of them like we've been doing. We're just going to work into them just like it was a regular stitch. Go into those top 2 loops again, pull up your loop, make your half double crochet, and then yarn over and go right back into that same stitch. There we are. And pull that up a little bit closer there, right in there, and make a second half double crochet. And you can see that's made our row here curve a little bit. So now we can continue working right across the bottom of those stitches we just made. So we find the next one there and go under those loops and make another half double crochet. And this gives us that sort of double row here, even though we're really just working one round. So we're just going to work all the way across in those bottoms there. There we are. Try and pull that out a little bit more so you can see. I know it's a funny angle, but hopefully you guys can get a good idea. Oh, Terry, your connection keeps freezing. I'm sorry about that. We recently just switched in our house from We had regular, I guess, broadband internet, maybe cable internet, I guess it would have been. And we recently switched over to fiber, and so far so good. But I tell you what, there are so many people on the internet these days. It is just really hard, I think, for them to keep up with demand. So here I am. I am at my last stitch, or rather the first one I made. So I've crocheted into the bottom of that right there. You can see my tail sort of hanging out there on the side. I'm just going to crochet one more time right into the bottom of that last stitch. Remember, we kind of had how we had 3 ends, or 3 stitches at the first end. Now we want 3 stitches at this end. So that's our second one. There we are. And then you can join and break and weave in your ends, or like I like to do it, I like to actually cut my yarn now. Let me put this down here out of the way a little bit. Isn't that hook pretty? It's one of the Furls Swirls. I love these. They're just gorgeous. This one's the Andromeda. Isn't that beautiful? Very pretty. All right, so with my yarn cut, I am going to just pull that on up. And then I would put this on a yarn needle, which I really hope I brought over here, but it looks like I did not. So, oh wait, yes, there's one, sorry. The joys of live. All right, so I'll put that on my yarn needle here. Thank you so much, Mariella. And then I will come back here and find the top of that very first one I made. Go under those loops with my needle. Pull that other end out of the way there. And then if I go right back down, let me pull this a little closer to the camera here, right back down to that last stitch I made with my needle. You can see how that kind of almost creates another stitch, or what looks like another stitch there at the top. And give it a little wiggle with your fingers, get it just where you want it, like so. And there we go, we've got our nice oval. Now all you need to do is weave in your ends, of course, and you want to make sure to weave in your ends really well with this project, because it is going to get used, hopefully. It's going to get washed and dried. You don't want this to be something that people feel like they need to coddle or take particular care of. So when you weave in those ends, you want to make sure to go one direction, of course. Pull that all the way through there. And then make sure you go back the other direction. And I really like to make sure, if possible, that I split that yarn strand that was going this way. If I can split it with my needle, and sometimes it's easier if you've got a little sharper needle, but if you can split it going back the other direction. Ooh, did you hear that? The furnace kicked on, yay! So anyway, if you split that yarn going back the other direction, that will really help lock it in. And of course you can do that a couple times, but you just want to make sure that that end isn't going to go anywhere when they throw it in the washer and dryer. Then of course you take your buttons and you just go ahead and sew one to each end. Again, you want to use a, nice sturdy thread. I've been using Coat's all-purpose thread, which is also available on yarnspirations.com, right along with the yarn, and just sewing my buttons to the end. So let me pull up that finished one right there. Just very simple. This is another great opportunity though. If you've seen me talk about it before, there's a giveaway happening on Moogly right now. The Clover desk needle threader for hand sewing. Those tiny little sewing needles, if you're like me, don't enjoy trying to thread the needles with tiny heads. These yarn needles are nice and easy, right? But those sewing needles can be quite difficult. So I've been using this to thread my needle to sew on these buttons. Definitely check this out. Like I said, there's an entire giveaway for it happening now on Moogly. I've got links to where you can buy it. It's at the link in the description. So if you are making these and sewing all those buttons and struggling to thread that needle like I always do, definitely check that out. It makes it a lot easier. So, ooh, and now we're close. Sorry about that, right up in my face. I hit the button maybe a little too soon. So there we are. That is how to make the quick crochet ear savers. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps you make some of your own if you've been trying to figure out how to make them, or you haven't seen the videos out there yet, or the patterns. Very simple. If you don't like the foundation half double crochet, you can make them your way. Do a chain, work back into it. You just want a nice strap that you can sew those buttons to, whatever works. So thank you so much. Oh, there we go. I had to touch it so that the comments would come back so I could read them. So thank you, Terry and Mariella and Juan. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it and that it looks fast and easy. And I'm glad that you guys tuned in today. I'm so glad you guys joined me. It's always great to be able to come on here and talk to you guys live. At this point, it's about the only excuse I have to put on real clothes and makeup these days, and maybe even do my hair once in a while. It's an unusual time, so hopefully this will be helpful. So thank you, Anne and Jay and Laura. Yeah, definitely. Like I say, look for buttons. Just main thing is to make sure the buttons are going to be big enough to hold those straps, and of course that they too are washable, because lots of buttons, especially those really pretty ones, just aren't. So something to keep in mind. I was lucky; I just happened to pick up this big old multicolor. I think it was like favorite findings, at Joann when you're in that button aisle. I always ended up getting a whole bunch of extra buttons, and I'm so glad I did this time because I've been using them. So thank you so much, Chris. Yeah, Susan, it's a great stash buster. So do give it a try, make dozens of them, share this video, share the written pattern, share that link with everybody who crochets and has the time and that little bit of stash. Like I say, just make sure the yarn's really washable. I can't stress that enough. Wash your hands before you make them. Absolutely. Maybe let them sit a day or two before you distribute them. The rules are always changing. I'm not giving medical advice, that's for darn sure. I know crochet, but I don't know medicine, so I will leave that to the experts. But I do know we need to wash our hands and stay safe. So on that note, I need to run and get some supplies for our household. As I mentioned on Facebook, we are running out of some of the same things everybody else ran out of. We had enough to get started, so we weren't worried yet, but my area is still resupplying, so I'll be going to do that. So thank you so much, Val. Oh, great idea. When your sewing machine gets too noisy at night, everybody's supposed to be sleeping. Yeah, you can whip these up. Definitely, like I say, obviously a great Netflix project. Whether you're watching Tiger King or something else, a great way to pass the time and do some good. So thank you so much, guys. I'm going to go ahead and run my errands, and everybody stay safe, keep washing your hands, and take care of each other. And hopefully we'll be back real soon. Have a great day, everybody.